Hello and welcome to ThePrint. This is Fariha Iftikhar and today we have with us UGC Chairperson M. Jagadesh Kumar. And today we will discuss with him various developments in the higher education sector of India. Welcome to ThePrint, sir.
Thank you.
So first of all, we would like to ask you what, according to you, were the key milestones and major developments in the higher education sector in the year that has just passed 2024?
Right. So if you look at NEP 2020, it provides us a roadmap to provide better accessibility, equity, and high quality education, accountability, and affordability. So for us, considering the number of students that we have in our country, the major objective of implementing NEP 2020 is to make our higher education more affordable and to create an ecosystem in our higher educational institutions in such a way that the quality of education that is available, that is provided to the students, is the best quality higher education. So we need to first of all identify what are the deficiencies in the existing system and then bring in newer kinds of imparting education to our students so that they become future ready. And in order to achieve this goal, last year UGC came up with several reforms, and these reforms come in different forms. Some of them are called frameworks, some of them are called guidelines, and the other ones are called regulations.
Yeah.
So regulations, the universities have to follow in letter and spirit. They cannot deviate from the regulations. Whereas the frameworks and guidelines, they provide a broader contour of what the universities can do, the boundaries of what they can do, but within those contours, the universities can experiment, can innovate, and adopt and do many newer things. And that's the difference between a regulation and framework. Just to give you an example, last month in 2024, in December, we introduced the regulations on undergraduate and postgraduate programs.
Yes.
And the last regulation on UG and PG programs was issued by UGC in 2003. So after 21 years, we have now come up with new regulations based on NEP 2020 objectives.
Yeah.
For example, in the new guidelines, we have said that we must provide students an opportunity to switch over the disciplinary boundaries. So we are saying in a 4-year undergraduate program, a student, independent of in which subject they studied in the school, they should be able to join in any discipline in their undergraduate program.
Yeah,
So
multidisciplinary.
So this will enable students, for example, for some reason, I chose to study social sciences, humanities in my school.
Yeah.
But now with more awareness, I want to switch over the discipline and get into maybe physics, or I want to do biology, or I want to do some other discipline.
Yeah.
I should be permitted to do that. And the advantage of doing this is that when students with different backgrounds, who have studied different disciplines, come together and work together, it will provide different perspective to them. It will open up newer windows to the world to them. Right? So that is why in the 4-year undergraduate program, we said that students from any discipline can join in any discipline. And students also have different kinds of cognitive abilities. On an average, a student, a large number of students will be able to complete their program in 4 years, if it is a 4-year degree program. But what if some students find the academic pressure too much and they want to slow down? And without attaching any stigma to them, they should be allowed to take lesser number of credits per semester and complete a 4-year degree program in 5 years.
Yeah.
If their learning outcomes are better, if they feel comfortable with this pace, we should allow them to do that. So therefore, in these regulations, we have also introduced extended degree program. And there could always be some students who have cognitive abilities to do the program in a shorter duration.
Earlier. Yeah.
So you can have accelerated degree program by letting the student take extra credits per semester. So instead of 4 years, they can complete in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So these kind of flexibilities have to be provided to our students to make sure that we meet the different kinds of cognitive abilities that the students have.
Yeah, this is one of the most major policy decision we have had in 2024.
Right.
Sir, what more is in the pipeline for 2025? Such innovative policy decisions, if you can share some.
You see, students have both academic interests, academic goals, also career goals.
Yeah.
So that is why, as part of these regulations, we are also saying that you can major in a particular discipline by taking up to 50% of the credits in a program. Let's say I want to major in history. I take 80 credits out of 160 credits required in a 4-year undergraduate program, and I major in history. Now, I also have a career goal. I want to be employed, let's say, in banking system. But with history, I will not be able to get into banking system. So therefore, now in the new regulations, we are saying that you can take some credits in banking, some credits in finance, some credits in, let's say, media and entertainment, or some credits in data science if you have a mathematics background. So you can acquire multiple skills by earning these credits as part of your degree program. So therefore, there is no extra burden on you, both in terms of time and effort in acquiring these new skills.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of flexibilities that we want to introduce. And you said in 2025, what are the new things that we are going to have? So as a media person, I can understand that you are always looking for something new. But as a regulator, as an academician, I am looking at how do I scale up the reforms that we have introduced. Already introduced. Because when we want to bring reforms in higher education, there are 3 things that we want to keep in our mind. One, the higher education should ensure that the learning outcomes of the students are enhanced, such as by introducing skill-based courses, by providing more experiential learning, by providing them internship opportunities so that they acquire the soft skills, they understand how the real world works. So this is enhancing the learning outcomes. And then we need to provide more personalized education to the students, because classroom teaching alone is not sufficient to the students to become a good learner. So can we give them individualized project work to the students? Can we give them some field work? Can we ask them, if you are studying economics, why do you have to do internship only in economics? Can you go to a hospital and see how a hospital is managed, how people who accompany the patient are taken care of? There are so many things that an economics student can learn by visiting, by doing an internship in hospital. Similarly, there are so many things a physics student can learn by visiting a local court and see how a court functions. So this kind of personalized, more individualized education has to be provided to the students, and this is where technology has to be introduced. Today, artificial intelligence is something that has become part of our lives, and this is going to completely transform the way we impart education to the students. Especially, the difference in cognitive abilities can be taken care of by introducing AI tools in education. So that is the second one. We need to prepare the universities and teachers in adopting these AI tools. And also, the universities also have to come up with certain SOPs, standard operating procedures, certain ethical practices on how to adopt these newer technologies in education. And then all this has to be done at a mass scale, at a population scale, because of the number of students that we have.
And also socio-economical challenges of our country.
Now, the reason why we need to do this at a mass scale is that if you can provide access to high quality education to a large number of students coming from different socio-economic backgrounds, what will happen is it will enhance the competency levels in the society. Once the competency levels in the society are enhanced, it will improve the economic system. And once the economic system is improved, we will be able to put in more funds to reach out to even larger number of students. So one has a positive impact on the other. So it's like a regenerative feedback. One feeds the other, and it enhances the economic and the social status of our country.
So you just mentioned about hands-on experience and internship, like more like a interdisciplinary internships. For that, we need like a robust system for industry academia collaboration,
Right.
which is right now is there, which is there, but not at a large scale. For that, like what should be done?
So there are two things here. One is collaboration with the industries for doing research in emerging areas.
Yeah.
Part one. And part two, collaborating with the industries to provide on-the-job experience to our students, so that by the time they complete their degree, they are job ready. And in both counts, the industry as well as the educational institutions both will benefit. So now looking at industrial collaboration for doing research in emerging areas. Now I find that there are 4 areas in which both industries and educational institutions have to work. And one of them is developing shared goals between industry and educational institutions. Because industries are always interested in quickly developing a product and bringing it into the market, whereas the universities are interested in going deeper into that area, coming up with newer knowledge and publishing it in a journal. More academic approach. Now we need to bring them across the table and ask them to develop shared goals. That is number one. And number two, both industry and universities have to understand that there are cultural differences in both the systems. Right, in industry, for example, you have time schedules, very tight time schedules. You need to meet the goals within those schedules. Whereas in academic environment, you have slightly laid back attitude. You take your own time to reach a certain level of research results. So now again, both of them have to work and see how they can understand these cultural differences and work together. And 3, what I find is that the communication gap between educational institutions and industries, both are looking for the other to take the first step. I think both have to take the first step, meet somewhere in the middle, and communicate better.
Deliberations should happen.
Communicate better with each other. Now, how can communication happen? For example, we have introduced the Professor of Practice scheme. Now, industries can send their experienced people to the universities, understand how the university system works and what are the capabilities a particular university has. And based on that understanding, you build shared goals and then work together. And most importantly, I feel that both industries and the educational institutions have to develop trust in each other.
So you just mentioned about Professor of Practice
Right,
scheme.
right.
So how did it pick up so far? Like, is it meeting the expected goals?
It's picking up very rapidly. If you visit our Professor of Practice portal, I'm pleasantly surprised to see that even a government college is advertising on our portal, asking that no, we want Professor of Practice in this particular domain. So you will see hundreds of advertisements on our portal. I think couple of thousands of professors of practice have already been appointed.
And are you getting feedbacks from universities, like what they are bringing to the table and how different it is to have professor of practice?
When we talk to the university vice chancellors, the feedback is very positive, because the industry person brings a completely different perspective to the students. That is one. And 2, the industry person can also provide better networking to the students and faculty, because they will have a huge network of people in the industry. So the benefits that accrue to the educational institutions are immense by bringing the professor of practice, and it will also build better trust between educational institutions and the industry so that better collaborative work can be done. So this is for improving the research ecosystem. But in order to provide more hands-on experience to our students, UGC has come up with the two schemes. One is providing skill courses as part of their regular degree programs. This is a simpler process as compared to the second process that we are introducing, which is the apprenticeship embedded degree program.
Okay.
So this requires more commitment both from the industry and from the educational institutions. Now let me explain very briefly, because this has a huge this will have a huge impact on the employability of our students.
Okay.
So number one, introducing skill-based courses as part of the degree programs. We are doing this using a platform known as Swayam Plus. We are identifying organizations which can provide these skill courses, maybe 2 credits, 3 credits, 4 credits courses, which the students can take online through Swayam Plus portal. It could be in banking, finance, auditing, accounting. There are so many things. Today, even event management has become a big industry, right? So in these multiple kinds of areas, we are going to make these courses available on Swayam Plus, and we will work with the universities and ensure that thousands of their students, the university students in degree programs, will register for these programs, undergo this training, and then the content provider, the organization which is providing this course, will conduct an online exam to the students in their respective universities, and the credits will be integrated as part of their degree program. So we expect that in the next 2-3 years, this integration of skill programs as part of the degree programs that the students are already doing will have immense impact in providing newer job opportunities to our students. And the second one, which requires more commitment both from the industry and the university system, is the apprenticeship embedded degree program. And as part of this, students can go up to 4 semesters in a 4-year undergraduate program, spend their time on the floor in the industry. Just to give you an example, let's say in a particular region, there are a lot of textile industries, and there are 2-3 universities in that region. Now, these textile industries can collaborate with the universities to offer a 4-year undergraduate program particularly suited to the textile industry. And the theoretical courses will be offered in the university, and the actual on-the-job training will be provided in the industry, the practical part. And some of the theoretical courses can also be offered through a professor of practice by this particular textile industry. And you see, at the end of 4 years, the student is job ready, and they can be absorbed by the industry which is sponsoring this program. So these are the kind of things that
when are we expecting this to be introduced in universities, the apprenticeship?
So usually what happens is, whenever we come up with a new scheme or a new framework, first we put it in the public domain for feedback. So the the apprenticeship embedded degree program, we have already put it in the public domain, and we have received a lot of feedback even from the state governments. And by incorporating that, we will issue the final guidelines. And for the introduction of skill education as part of the degree programs, we have just put it out in the public domain for public feedback. And once the feedback is obtained, we will integrate, and then final guidelines will be introduced. So our expectation is that in the July session of 2025, many students will have the opportunities to join either in apprenticeship embedded degree program or take these credits in the skill courses.
Okay. So is UGC planning to revise the education criteria for the appointment of faculty in higher education institutions? Because there are
you see that the quality of the teachers that we appoint in our university system and the opportunities that we provide to them to excel, these two are closely linked to what kind of quality of research that we do and what kind of education that we provide to our students. And so far, what has happened is that when we wanted to recruit our students using the existing UGC regulations,
Yeah.
the focus is more on publishing in journals,
Correct.
right? Or to earn the API, academic performance indicator points.
Yeah.
So it became more number driven rather than quality driven. So therefore, we are working on revising the existing 2018 regulations on minimum qualifications for appointment of teachers in universities and colleges, so that we will provide much more broader opportunities for the students, for the faculty members to be appointed, and also provide much more freedom to the universities to appoint teachers with multidisciplinary background. Right today, if I have done BA economics, MA in sociology, I go to some foreign university, do MA in sociology, come back and I do PhD in economics. Now I apply to a university, they will say your MA is not in economics, it is in sociology, so therefore you are not eligible. But the fault is not with universities. The fault is also with the way we frame our regulations. And many of these regulations came before NEP 2020.
Correct, 2018 month.
So therefore, NEP 2020 has provided us the opportunity now to re-look into all these rigidity that was there in our regulations, and remove all those rigid practices and bring in a lot of flexibility. And that's how we have worked on these regulations. We will soon be putting out the draft regulations.
So when you just say like diverse and backgrounds, so it means from industry or from experience also, like someone having equal experience probably in some.
We will provide different paths for faculty to be recruited in the universities. So let us see how it will come.
Do we expect it to come soon?
It is expected to come in another week. Also, we will put it in the public domain. But my hope is that with these new regulations and the way we will recruit the faculty and provide them an ecosystem where, depending on their own intrinsic nature, somebody would like to do research more, somebody would like to develop technology, somebody would like to write textbooks. So different kinds of things had to be promoted and within our university system, and these new regulations will provide such an opportunity to our faculty members.
It will not limit their talent and their.
My hope is that in next 10 to 15 years, when we recruit faculty using these broader regulations that we are bringing in, it's going to transform our higher education system and make our universities world-class universities.
I'm sure. So what is the status of a digital university, and when do we expect it to start operating?
Currently, we all recognize the fact that we need to reach out to more students, and not every student will be able to come to a city and study in a university. So therefore, digital technology plays a very critical role. And therefore, we are also working on revising our current online and ODL regulations. Provide more flexibility to the universities to offer the online programs. So currently, this semester, about 90 universities are offering online programs in different disciplines. And we have also permitted now the online programs to be offered both in the July session and also in January session. And we have extended that even to the universities. Biannual admissions can be done. So currently, before the digital university comes, we want to strengthen our own university system in offering more online and ODL programs. So perhaps next 1 or 2 years, our focus will be on this. Bring in more online programs through our conventional universities.
Then after that,
right, as the system matures, perhaps we will look at the digital university system.
And so what is the status of Heiki bill, if you can share a little, like, do we expect it to come soon?
We all know that in our country there are many regulators and many councils, and we all have to work with synergy, especially in terms of implementing the NEP 2020. Towards that extent, we have already started meeting with each other. UGC itself conducted a meeting of regulators, and we will soon have another meeting of all the regulators to exchange ideas. What are the challenges that we have, and what are the good practices in adopting the NEP 2020? So the mental space is being prepared to work together.
Correct.
And as an organization, when HECI will be established, is something that the government will look at it, because it has to come through an act of parliament. But even before that comes, we have to examine internally, look into our own processes and see how we can align with each other to achieve the bigger objectives of NEP 2020. That mental preparation has already started.
Okay.
And we hope that when HECI is finally established, the people who are working in different organizations will be mentally prepared to perform their duties.
The collaboration
Yes,
should be there before.
Yeah.
Sir, after Southampton University, do we expect any other foreign university to come up with a plan to start their campus here? And what is the status of the scheme now, like allowing foreign universities to come?
There are many universities which have expressed their interest. We have from Europe, apart from UK. There are some European countries and top-class institutions which have shown interest, and they are in the process of filling up the application.
Okay.
And similarly, from Australia, several universities are interested. A few universities from US are in discussion with us.
Okay.
Now, what happens is that the application process has a few components. One is that the university which is planning to establish a campus in India, they need to do paperwork in their respective university. They need to get the approvals and so on. And two, they also, as they are doing their paperwork in their respective university, they also go around the country in India, explore in which places they can establish this campus. So they do that work
their
also.
own field work.
Their own field work, they do it. And then when they come to apply on UGC portal, UGC also handholds them and provides them the required help in applying on our portal. So things are moving, and we have our expert committee, and as soon as the application process is complete, the expert committee evaluates it within 3 months, and then it gives the recommendations to UGC. And UGC, within 3 months, it will put in the commission, and once the approval is there, we give the letter of intent to the foreign university. And this process is going on, and we need to have some patience and give them some time to apply and let this process go on.
We are expecting more.
Yes, we are expecting more.
Yeah. So one last question probably. So right now in some universities, including DU, like the batch which was introduced as the first 4-year undergraduate batch in 2022-23 session, they are going to now decide if they want to do 4th year, right? Okay. So this is going to be like a proper implementation of the 4-year program. Now the students will be there. But the faculty member there, sir, they have raised concern over the infrastructural challenges and some limitations in terms of human resources. Sir, how like this can be tackled, and if UGC is also helping them in some way or another?
See, our universities have enormous intellectual resources, right? Very highly experienced faculty. So whenever we bring in new changes, therefore, once they identify the challenges, whether it is infrastructural or teaching resources, I have the confidence that they can also find the solutions, right? For example, in certain disciplines in a particular university, if there are not enough teaching resources, they can ask the students to take the courses from the SWAYAM, or they can ask the students to take some of the courses from the online programs that are available. And if there are not enough teaching resources, they can bring in some professors of practice, right? And in terms of the infrastructure, you see, the infrastructure that we have, existing infrastructure in our universities, it's a national resource, and it should be used as efficiently as possible. I'm sure our faculty members in the universities can identify certain infrastructure which is not fully utilized, and shift some of the activities to that infrastructure, whether it is labs or classrooms, so that they can be effectively used. So the feeling I get when I talk to the institutional heads and also faculty members during our zonal conferences, that people are very, very aspirational. They are very, very enthusiastic. On one side, they do identify the challenges, but on the other side, they are also working out the solutions. So it's a collective effort in a given university. Certain universities may take time to overcome these challenges, but there are other universities, bigger universities such as DU, they will be in a position to overcome some of these challenges in a quicker way. So therefore, just as all of us have different abilities, universities also have different abilities, and that's the reason why we don't make everything mandatory to the universities.
Yeah.
Even the 4-year undergraduate program, we said it's an optional thing. But sooner or later, universities will realize that if they don't introduce some of these changes and be part of the reform, they will lag behind. So therefore, it is in everybody's interest that even if you are a bit slower, that you are part of the pack and move forward.
Since you just mentioned change, sir, I would like to ask about the changes in CUET also, if you can quickly tell our viewers.
Yes.
Because Radhakrishnan Committee's report has also come recommending various changes in the way entrance exams should be conducted. And I'm sure that CUET is also going to change this time in different ways, if you can tell our viewers.
Absolutely. See, Dr. Radhakrishnan's committee has given the recommendations for the overall entrance ecosystem in our country, strengthening NTA, strengthening the processes that are part of conducting these large-scale entrance exams. And CUET UG, CUET PG, UGC NET are some of the exams in the entire ecosystem. But focusing on CUET UG, right, because this is of great interest to our students who are coming
from a large
from
number of students sit for it,
coming from the school system. Based on the experiences of last 3 years in CUET UG, we have decided to introduce some changes in CUET UG to be conducted in 2025. For example, we found that in certain papers, the number of students who register is very, very small. So therefore, we have reduced the number of domain subjects by about 6 papers. Earlier, we had 29 papers. Now it will come down to 23. And similarly, there are language papers. You have 13 language papers, 12 Indian languages and 1 English. So these 13 languages are also used as medium of the entrance test. And a test paper also is there in these 13 languages, and that will continue. But then there are 20 other language papers. Many of them are foreign languages, and some of them are languages with very few registrations. So now what we are saying, we will not conduct any test in these 20 language papers, and you can use the general aptitude score to admit students in these programs. So basically, the number of papers is coming down from 63 to 37.
So the duration will also be reduced.
So the number of papers is coming down. And earlier, in some papers, the time duration was 60 minutes. And in other papers, it was 45 minutes. Now we are making uniform for all the papers. It is going to be 60 minutes for everybody, right? And in earlier issues of CUET UG, there was a choice given to the students. If there are 60 questions given in general aptitude test, the students were asked to do 50. And in other subject domains, 50 questions were given and they were asked to do 40. Now we are saying in all papers, everybody will answer 50 questions and there is going to be no choice.
All questions mandatory.
All questions are mandatory. And this is how in any standardized test, the questions are asked to be answered. There is no choice. That means all students will answer the same set of questions, and that's how the exam becomes a standardized test.
Will be evaluated on the basis of
same scale.
And it's going to be completely digital this time.
It's going to be completely digital because the first 2 issues of CUET UG was completely computer based. The third one, the smaller papers with smaller registration, we use CBT, and for others we use the the OMR based examination. There are advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that you can conduct this exam in one single day.
Correct.
But the disadvantage is that the paper movement, the involvement of humans in the entire process of conducting the examination is high. So that's the reason why this year, and based on Dr. Radhakrishnan's committee also, we shifted to CBT, the computer-based test, which is a technology-based test. The advantage here is that it is highly secure and the human involvement is less, but um, we may have a situation where for certain papers, we may have to conduct the exam in 2 sessions or 3 sessions.
Because a large number of students.
On a single day, you cannot conduct the examination in digital mode for all the students who are registering. Let's say some 6 lakh students have registered. If our capacity is only 2 lakh per day, 2 lakh notes are available. So obviously, I have to conduct in 3 sessions. So in those cases, then we will use the normalization process and we will give the normalized score.
Like in 2020.
Like it happened earlier. And normalization for such kind of examinations is a scientific and commonly used approach.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot for talking to us and share the insights. Thank you for watching The Print.
Thank you very much.